good, YouTube faithful? Thanks for tuning into episode 3. This is Max Financial coming at you with another episode of financial literacy education, comprehensive reviews, and of course a shout out at all the stocks and some of the things that I'm investing in on a day-to-day basis. However, without much more being said, I do need to point out this will not be like the last video. Unfortunately, I ran into a bit of a calamity. I'm going on vacation last week to visit my brother and cracked my LCD display on my new computer. So yeah, I had a couple PowerPoints stored for you guys on that, but those are obviously going to have to wait. So in the meantime, we're going to go over some stuff that I'm dealing with the stock market, be it with my options, be it what's going on with the crypto sphere, Coinbase's direct listing, what's going on with altcoins, XRP, Dogecoin, all taking off to the moon. So if you're in on those, congratulations, because I know you made plenty of money. But nonetheless, let's hop right into it. You know, this isn't financial advice. This is something I do for fun. All of it is to be taken with a grain of salt and not literally or seriously. This is just my way to express my financial creativity. So if you believe in it, follow it. If not, leave a hateful comment down in the comment section. I could use the bad press. Nonetheless, we're gonna hop into this video in 3, 2, 1, and so what's on the menu? Let's take a look. We're gonna talk NFTs. Let's talk Coinbase's public offering. We're gonna go a little bit into the stocks that I talked about on the last video, being GNUS and UAVS, if I can recall correctly. Both have seen some pretty volatile movement. Both are down right now, but we'll get into that a little bit more later. And last but not least, we're gonna talk about altcoins. Yeah, so different forms of cryptocurrency, which have really seen a lot of rapid expansion. Like it's crazy. I couldn't believe when I saw this past weekend how volatile and in the right directions it is moving. So it's important that we kind of get an understanding for what and why, and then move on to the how we can better take advantage of it. All right. First things first, Coinbase. So Coinbase was recently publicly offered on the stock market with a listing price of $350. However, it opened up 57, I believe, percent higher. Yeah, 57% higher upon opening, which put it at about $425. Completely overpriced. Typically on these initial public offerings, or not the IPOs, but the direct listings. I apologize. We're gonna keep it going. On the direct listings, you see a bit of a run up and then you see a little bit of a sell off. But what a lot of people don't understand or see at the moment necessarily is what's going on behind the scenes with Coinbase, how they make their money, how many members they have, and their projections going forward. I just learned recently, actually, where Coinbase, unlike any other crypto distributor or marketer, has a 46%, I'll say it again, 46% markup on all crypto transactions. That means if you want to own even a tenth of a Bitcoin, they're going to charge you $100 on that acquisition. So it's just one of those things where you have to kind of weigh your losses here. And I see maybe a long term where Coinbase will see a little bit of a pullback when some of these larger institutions start to see the technicals and some of the drawbacks of how they're starting to make their money. But the sky's the limit. Again, it's the biggest crypto sphere, crypto marketer, we'll put it that way, on the market right now. A lot of people are gravitating towards it. As of right now, I have a Coinbase account. I do plan on closing that out and maybe going to either BlockFi or Binance. I'm not sure which one I should do because I just got into this crypto thing about 6 months ago. So still trying to do my research there. If you have any suggestions, leave it down in the comments. But nonetheless, their revenue on the year is up 847% to 1.8 billion. Absolutely absurd. 56 million users. And originally it was set for, like I said, the 350 price tag, and ended up exceeding that by 57.4%. Just some notables here. Little subscript into cryptocurrency. Let's talk a little bit about Bitcoin and Ethereum for a second. Bitcoin, something that a lot of people don't even think is real or worth investing in, is on the warpath to legitimacy. Even in the past, 4 months? What are we in, April now? So 4 months, it's up 45% in 2021. It was 29.4K in January. And as of last I checked it had notched at 64.899 as of last weekend. So that in of itself is crazy. It's only becoming more and more of a legitimate form of currency, or decentralized currency. One of the favorites that is, with Ethereum following up right behind it, right? So with Ethereum, there's a couple of different catalysts which made it kind of go from the low 1600s all the way up to, I think, 2455. Last time I checked, 2046.50. But what it is more than anything else, I think, is the fact that NFTs are working their way into legitimacy. And non-fungible tokens, for all who don't know, are digital assets, kind of like collectibles, where you are given the rights to a specific digital asset, kind of like signed over in a certificate, and then you are the sole owner of that. And any profits, any money, any where it's used, you will then see some royalty of that in your direction, because you hold what in the music industry is called the masters, but the actual authentic product. And this spans for not only just art, but music, digital content creation. I was talking to my girlfriend while we were on break, or on our little vacay, about how we could use NFTs with graffiti, right? So specific cities, specific towns that have notable graffiti, notable artists who don't get recognized on a larger scale, to NFT, or to make digital their creations that are, scattered amongst big cities throughout the United States, I think would be huge. And we'll see where that market goes, because that is something that is kind of coming of age as we speak. I.e., not all the pieces are quite in place yet, but it leaves a lot of opportunity for some creative expansion. As far as, if you have a generally good idea that could benefit this market, now's the time to kind of put it out there. People have open ears for this stuff now. But we're going to double down on that and get back to talking a little bit more about something else. I'd like to pick up where I left off, where I shouted out two of the stocks that I was tracking. I actually own them both, so I'm a little partial to their success. However, I think it is imperative that I share some of this information on them with you guys, so that you know what's coming down the pipeline. That way you can get in early while it's still cheap. First one's first, GNUS, ticker symbol GNUS, stands for Genius Brands. Also a company that holds the intellectual property to Stan Lee's, like, his entire collection. Everything after Disney bought Marvel, Stan Lee went off on his own little creative journey, as some artists do, and kept doing what he did best, creating cartoons, fictional characters, and ultimately symbols of what you could end up seeing, future children really looking up to. So I think taking advantage of where Genius Brands is at right now could position you for a later win in the future. But we're going to go over some technicals first. Andy is Genius's CEO. He takes care of all their PR as far as when it comes to relating any pertinent information to investors. But his most recent letter to investors stated a few things. I highlighted a few. I'll throw a couple up so you guys can keep up with me. But basically, Genius has no debt. And for a company that you are investing in, that is what you want to hear. You basically want to know that the company has no outstanding debts, no liabilities, nothing that could drag the company down in times of need when it needs money. So that takes me to my next key point, where Genius also has $140 million worth of cash on hand. Huge. And Andy stated that money is being reserved for acquisitions or production of any future products, any future intellectual properties, which takes me to my next big thing, which kind of blew me away. I didn't see this coming, but nonetheless, I shouldn't have doubted Genius from the get-go. While Genius has Superhero Kindergarten coming down the pipeline, releasing this coming Friday, which would be, looks like 4/24 or 4/23. By the time this video drops, it definitely will already be out, so you'll have some reaction to that. But furthermore, they have another show coming out in the fall called Shaq's Garage, starring, you guessed it, Shaquille O'Neal. So for all those big Shaq fans out there, tune in for that, because I'm sure Shaq has a hilarious lineup set for us. But coming up right behind Shaq's Garage is a show they're minting, Baby Shaq. And the only thing that I saw in that is, if you like Baby Shark, then you'll love Baby Shaq. So we'll see what that has in store for us. Three pieces of intellectual property that are going to really help boost this stock, especially now that it's down in penny land and has been ever since the initial announcement of Superhero Kindergarten last year. It popped all the way up to, I think, between $7 and $11 before consolidating all the way back down to where it was at today, after a brief pop yesterday to about 167. So you can still get in pretty cheap. But nonetheless, we have some other stuff that we wanted to point out about GNUS, which is why I've really been eyeballing it. It has the intellectual property to Rainbow Rangers, which was recently sold to Netflix. That deal is relatively fresh, so the benefits or income from that is going to be relatively fresh. Look at that long term. Something else is going to build value with that stock. And lastly, GNUS's managing partner is the managing partner of Stan Lee's Universe, i.e. POW, P-O-W exclamation point. Basically, this is everything that Stan Lee has minted prior to him passing, and then him passing that on to GNUS is obviously a big responsibility and a large amount of value. So just several reasons why I'm behind GNUS big time, holding them heavily in a couple of different my portfolios, and I suggest you do the same if you want to see some wicked gains this time next year. All right, on to the next. Second stock that I mentioned on the first video was AG Eagle Aerial, or UAVS, which is a drone stock, relatively low market cap, coming in at around 400 million. But this is another one of the growth plays like GNUS that I had spotted out a few months back. Been hearing different things through the social media waves as far as what they have coming down the pipeline. However, the biggest piece of news that caught my eye was the fact that they may be already working with Amazon's delivery service as far as their drone rollout goes. Now, this is something that's not really in the forefront just yet. It's being tested in certain areas. However, this is coming. It's inevitable. They're looking to cut costs on delivery services. They're looking to cut costs on salaries for those delivery peoples. And this is their way of doing it. AG Aerial Systems has already been mentioned on Amazon's question page multiple times as far as who do you think or who are you guys going to be teaming with to, roll out the drone delivery system. And every time that it's mentioned, AG seems to come up. So I've decided to stick with this one because despite the fact that it's gone up, gone down, I think at one point in time, AG was all the way up at 16. It drew all the way back down to 4 at one point in time, and now it's right around 6. So you can see where it's kind of trying to level out and kind of balance out where it's going to be maybe for the foreseeable future, or prop itself up for a huge bounce. Nonetheless, this is a company that needs to be looked at with a fine monocle. Their revenues since 2019 are up 333%. It's an industry-leading drone solutions provider. Some recent noteworthy mentions is their agricultural applications with hemp overview, as far as using the drones to gather data, collect samples, just generally keep an eye on whatever you have growing out on the farmlands. Other than that, we're looking at a delivery system that Farmlands is using, which is helping with crops, helping keep up with health of crops, what section of crops are going bad, what section of crops need water, this, that, and the third. The application for drones doesn't just stop at delivery services. There is there's an agricultural use, there is a commercial use, there could be a privatized use. Say on the golf course, you need your refreshments delivered to you, and little Jimmy riding around the golf cart just is, I guess, out to lunch. Well, here comes your drone delivering your hot dog and your fresh brewski. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, while the jump in revenue was the biggest shock to me, it's largely attributed to this quiet kept partnership that they have with, and I'm taking this directly from one of their investor relations memos. It says they have a contract with a large e-commerce vendor. Now, there's several e-commerce vendors out there, obviously, but when it emphasized large, I think the terminology might have been biggest e-commerce vendor. My thoughts only went two ways. It went to Alibaba or it went to Amazon. And if it's going to Amazon, this stock's roof is, I couldn't give you a price prediction if I wanted to. It's been so up and down lately. However, in the past few months, it's seen about a 30% run up from the lows of $4. So if you're gonna get in now. Make your value acquisitions now. This is probably around the lowest it will go. Don't quote me on that. Obviously, this is not financial advice. Take it with a grain of salt. But I have been watching this stock for a while. I have been tracking its behavior, and the news is slowly starting to not trickle out anymore. But you know, it's coming. So keep your eye on it. So in closing, this video was kind of improvised. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. With the whole computer being broken, I turned it in today. They told me this is going to be about 2 or 3 weeks, so we might have a couple more videos where I'm just giving market updates as far as what I'm doing in the market, maybe a prediction here or there as far as which one of my stocks is going to go where, if I pick up on some news that you guys might want to hear. Keep you updated on that Coinbase price and my acquisitions thereof. But thank you for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate it. I put a lot of work into these videos, and to have you guys watch means the world to me. I'm going to keep you guys entertained. Till the next video. Peace.